UKC Nosework is one of the sniffy sports available to you if you have a dog that is unable to get their nose off the ground during walks. Let's get into what it takes to become a master of sniffing. Feel free to use the title markers in the description to hop where you need to, as this is a 101 video, so we are essentially making the rulebook into a video. So you can expect what is Nosework, how to start, classes available, trials, titles, and where to find more info. And with that being said, let's hop into it. UKC Nosework is the sniffy sport offered by the United Kennel Club in the United States. In this sport, your dog finds specific odors listed in the rulebook for their levels in a variety of locations. The sport was designed to emulate detection dog and hunting dog work. All dogs get to participate. And if you have a dog that needs a little bit of confidence building, getting them into this sport could be what they need, as this sport teaches them to be brave and they get a lot of rewards for doing so. If you're looking for a starting point, you have a couple of options. Being able to get into a class will always be one of the top suggestions, as you'll be able to learn with others and have a guided program to follow. If you're in a class, make sure to not be shy and ask all of the questions, especially if you're new. Most people are willing to answer and explain, and then you can make sure you're getting all the information you need to succeed in searches. If you're unable to get into a class or they aren't available, welcome to the University of the Internet. There are so many wonderful videos online that can help you teach your dog the skills they need. The biggest thing about teaching yourself is to make sure you get the right odors. There are specific versions of odors that are used and may not be the first ones that pop up in an Amazon search or in a physical store, and yes, I'm saying this from experience. Check the rulebook, which I'll also have on the screen here, for the exact type of scents you need. You can also find them online in dog-specific stores like the Canine Nose and Learberg. Also will be linked in the description. There is some equipment you will need to practice. Obviously the odors. You can also use boxes, which you can save from any online purchases, but make sure that you keep the boxes that have had the odors in them separate from the boxes that haven't had any odors. And for each odor, you'll want to keep those boxes separate from other boxes with different odors in them. You'll also want something to hold the Q-tips with the smell so the oils don't touch other items. I personally use these cans you will see on screen, and I'll link them in the description. The fantastic thing is they are metal, so you can stick magnets onto them, which makes it really helpful to practice outdoors at places like parks. You'll also want to make sure your dog has a harness and probably a longer leash. Most people tend to use a 10 to 15 foot long line, which we have multiple versions of, including some Sniffy Sport specific ones for sale on our website. Some people also use retractable leashes. Be aware if you do use a retractable leash, you may get some crap from people for using one, but I'd rather you use what you have and get out there and have fun with your dog rather than being scared by the price point of getting a new leash. We highly recommend harnesses, as the dog is the one leading the sport, and we want them to be able to pull without any possible throat damage from pulling into a collar. Now that you're getting started, let's get into what class options you have in UKC Scentwork. There are 4 classes with a bonus game. We'll focus on the classes first, and then we'll go to the bonus game. First off, it'll be containers, then interiors, exteriors, and then vehicles. For each of these, you start in Novice and work your way through Advanced, Superior, Master, and Elite. In the Novice classes, you'll have a 3-minute search time. Advanced will be 4, Superior 5, Master and Elite will both be 6 minutes. And you have to pass 2 legs in order to move on to the next. For containers, this one you will be thankful you have that pile of Amazon boxes that you can't quite bring yourself to get rid of, because they now have a use. For each scent you introduce in the search, you will want to have one box that you label as hot. This means the scent has been in that box and has contaminated it. You will want to store this box separate from all of your other boxes, which are typically referred to as cold, meaning no scent has touched them. In Novice, you will start with birch scent only and a line with 11 other cold boxes. Your time starts when you walk through the 2 cones, and your dog's goal is to find the hot box. They will give you an alert that at this level only needs to be an easy to read difference in body language. At the higher levels, they will ask for a more defined alert. Once you move on to advanced, you will have the same setup but with anise as the scent and a toy distraction added into one of the boxes. The dog cannot get distracted by the toy and must focus on the scent. In superior, you will have 2 odors and 16 boxes in total. One of the odors will be clove and the second can be either anise or birch. And there will be a distraction either of food or toys in a different box, but that box won't be directly next to one of the hides. Once you move on to masters, you will have 20 boxes, 3 hides, with one of them being the myrrh scent, and the other 2 will be some combination of clove, birch, or anise. You also have 1 distraction of a food or a toy, and at this level, they can be placed next to the hides. And then when you get to elite, you'll have 24 boxes, anywhere from 1 to 4 hides, with vetiver being the only required hide. Any of the previous odors can also be hidden. You will not be told the number of hides in the search area. There will also be 2 distractions of toys and or food that can be next to the hides. Remember, at the elite level, your dog has to do an alert that you would have stated to the judge on the entry form. You have to call alert and finish during and at the end of the search. On to exteriors. If you're practicing these, I highly suggest using a park, as most people aren't going to have the amount of space needed for the higher levels at their house. At novice, you will have a single hide of birch and a 200 to 400 square foot area. In advanced, you will move up to a 500 to a 750 square foot area, with 1 hidden anise that can be up to 24 inches off the ground, and there can/will be a distraction of a toy that won't be directly next to the hide. Superior brings you to a 3-foot height max. Your search area expands to 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. You will have 2 hidden odors, one of which will be clove, the other can be anise or birch, and you will have a single distraction of a toy or food that is not next to the hide. The master level brings you into a 2,000 to a 3,000 square foot search area. You will have 3 hides, one being myrrh, and a height maximum of 4 feet. You will also have a single food or toy distraction that can be placed next to the hides. In elite, you will be taken into a 3,000 to 4,000 square foot area with a 5-foot height max. There will be 1 to 4 hides, and again, you won't be told the number of hides in this search area. Remember, at the elite level, your dog has to do an alert that you would have stated to the judge on your entry form. You will also have to call your alerts and finishes during the search. And now that we are sufficiently cold, or depending on if it's summer, really hot, let's head inside for interiors. At the novice level, you will need 100 to 150 square feet. And you guessed it, birch with no distractions. In advanced, you need 100 to 300 square feet with a single anise hide at a maximum height of 2 feet. You will have 1 distraction of a toy, and you don't want the dog to play with the toy. So this one can take some extra practice at home, so make sure the scent is more valuable than a random toy would be. Superior is where interiors gets interesting. You will see 2 search areas, the first of which will be 100 to 200 square feet. The second will be 300 to 400 square feet. The distraction can be paired either with a single hide or in a blank area, and there will be 2 hides in total. One will be clove, the other can be birch or anise. You are able to move between the 2 areas during the search to find all the odors, so if one area appears to be blank, it could be so. Master takes what Superior introduced and bumps up the difficulty. You will still have 2 search areas, but their sizes will be 1 to 200 square feet and 300 to 400 square feet. Distractions can be placed next to the hides. Your height limit increases to 4 feet, and there are 3 options on how hides can be divided between the spaces. You'll either have all the hides in one area with no distractions in this area, all the hides and distractions in a single area with nothing in the second area, or you will have 1 to 2 hides in one area and the final hide hanging out in the area with the distraction. And Elite does what you'd expect. It takes the master level and makes it so much harder. You will have 3 search areas. The smallest will be 1 to 200 square feet, the second will stay at 3 to 400, and the final will be 4 to 600. You will again have 1 to 4 odors hidden in the search area, and you won't be told the number of hides. You will have 2 distractions of some combination of food and or toys, and the distractions and target odors can be placed right next to each other. The smallest area can have no more than 2 items, hides and distractions, and the larger areas can have no more than 3 items total. Any of the areas can be blank. And remember, at the elite level, your dog has to do the alert that you stated on your judge's form. You also have to call alert and finish during your searches. Now on to vehicles. In this class, only the outside of the vehicles will be used, and the height limits are slightly modified at different levels. You will also find exact definitions of what a vehicle is in the UKC rulebook, which again is linked in the description. As always, we are starting this off with the novice level, where you will have 3 vehicles all facing the same direction with 4 to 6 feet between them. There will be 1 birch scent hidden on the front bumper of one of the vehicles. In advance, you will have the 3 vehicles facing in a line in the same way with the 4 to 6 feet of separation, and anywhere on the outside of the car can be used with a 2-foot height max. There's also a toy distraction at this level, but is not allowed to be on the same vehicle as the hide. On this one, you are searching for a single anise hide. In Superior, you get a 4th vehicle added in, and it is the first level where a non-automobile will be introduced. The vehicles can be in any orientation, but still 4 to 6 feet apart. The height max is up to 3 feet, and the toy or food distraction cannot be on the same car as the hide. At this level, clove will be a mandatory hide, with birch and anise being available for the other hides. They will all be on their own vehicles. The master level increases the difficulty again, with 5 vehicles, 3 of which must be automobiles, and they'll be in a scattered pattern in any orientation, still 4 to 6 feet apart. Any part of the vehicle can be used, only 1 hide allowed per vehicle. There will be a 3-foot max on normal vehicles and a 4-foot maximum hide on non-automobiles. Distractions can be on the same vehicle as the hide, but not the same side. You will have myrrh as a mandatory hide, and the other 2 hides can be birch, anise, or clove. And as always, Elite is going to make your dog look like an absolute rock star. There will be 6 vehicles, of which 4 must be automobiles. They'll be scattered in a pattern of no specific orientation, but they will still be 4 to 6 feet apart. There'll be a 3-foot height max for regular vehicles, 5 foot for non-automobiles, and only 1 hide per vehicle. Distractions can be placed on the same vehicle as a hide, but not on the same side. However, a neighboring vehicle could have a side that faces a hide that has a distraction on it. Remember, at the elite level, your dog has to do the alert that you would have stated to the judge on your entry form, and you have to call the alert and finishes during the search. You will have 1 to 4 hides, with the only guaranteed hide being vetiver. The others can be a combo of any of the other 4 previous odors, and you will not be told the number of hides in your search area. And with all of that, we're going to get into how do you mess it up. We're going to go over the specific faults for each class here, as there are some to bring up that are particular for each class. The slides will show the exact specifications from the rulebook, so if you're at that level, feel free to screenshot or go look at the rulebook. For novice, the things to note: the non-qualifiers, you will be allowed to make 1 incorrect alert. The second incorrect alert will make a non-qualifying score. Not be like me and make the mistake of asking your dog where after calling the alert, as that'll get you points dinged at every level. Most of the levels have the same non-qualifiers as each other, and the faults are pretty much the same. Once you hit Superior and above, you will be getting an NQ if you miss hides. You'll also see an NQ if the dog plays with or eats the distraction objects. At the Master and Elite level, if your dog doesn't give its predefined alert, you will also get an NQ, so make sure you guys have that alert down. Now we're on to the bonus game. This is not an official class, and the reasoning for it confuses me, so I'm not going to try to make it make sense outside of bonus sniffy game. This is called handler discrimination. It tests your dog's ability to find an item with your scent in a room full of tons of other scents. There are only 4 levels to this game: Novice, Advanced, Excellent, and Master. There will be 12 boxes set 24 inches away from each other. Your dog will be allowed to sniff your hand before and during the search, but only your hand, and you will need to call the alert when your dog finds your scent. In Novice, your dog will have 11 cold boxes with nothing in them, and 1 hot box that'll have your item, usually a glove. The judge will bring you a box which you will put your article in. You will then turn around and the judge will put the box in the line so you don't know which box is yours. Advanced will have 11 boxes with something scented by the judge in it, and your hot box. You will provide the article and the judge will put the box in line while you have your back turned, so again, you don't know which one is yours. In Excellent and Master, the judge will call the competitors up within 15 minutes of start time. You will provide a pre-scented item. Excellent's a glove. Master's an item of your choice that fits a 12-inch by 9-inch by 3-inch box. The item will be in a sealed plastic bag with your armband number written on it. You will place the item in the box for the judge. If there are not 12 competitors, the judge will have scented items that will fill out the remaining boxes. The Master level will require your dog to hold their alert for 3 seconds while the judge counts down after the alert is called. You are not allowed to give the dog any type of stay signal, and you must wait for the judge to call release before the dog stops the alert. If the dog changes positions, that counts as a fault and the count restarts. A second position change is a non-qualifying score. The rulebook specifies non-qualifying scores for the Excellent and Master level, which are on screen here. Feel free to screenshot or look up the rulebook linked in the description so you can make sure you know what you're getting into. Getting into the sport can feel like a lot. If you aren't ready to train a dog or you want to go to a couple trials first to see what it's like, here are the jobs that will be needing to be done and which you can volunteer to help with. As the trial progresses, people will be getting ribbons and placements, the meanings of which are on this slide, as well as how the order of who wins the classes is picked. As with many dog sports, Nosework has a ton of terminology. We could make an entire video going over that, and if interested, let me know. But you can find the UKC's glossary on pages 48 to 50 of the rulebook linked in the description as of the time of this recording. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a blast getting out there and trying Nosework with your dog. If you already compete, let us know how you got started in the comments, and if you have any questions, let us know. We'll do our best to help.